Hello and welcome to Physics with Amol sir. So this video is for class 11 and we will continue with units and measurement. So previously we have seen the concept of the fundamental units, fundamental quantities, and we have seen about errors, we have seen how we can minimize the errors. Today we are going to talk about two concepts. One is the concept of significant figures and then the concept of dimensional formulae. Okay, so let's begin. First, we will talk about the concept of significant figures. Now, what are significant figures? Let us say, for example, we are using a stopwatch, and using the stopwatch, we have measured the time interval of an event, and we have found out the time interval is, let us say, 6.02 seconds, right? Now, what we know is that time interval 6.0, that is a very certain measurement, and this 0.02, this 2, that is an uncertain part of that measurement, because it might happen that in the other measurement we might get the time as 6.05 seconds or 6.03 seconds. So this is called as the uncertain part. So the certain digits plus the uncertain digit, that is called as the number of significant figures. Okay. So in this given measurement, how many significant figures we are having? We are having 3 significant figures. Okay, so like this we can find out significant figures for any kind of measurements. Now let us see what are the rules for these significant figures. Okay, so let us see the rules to determine number of significant figures. The first rule is that all the non-zero digits are significant. So all these digits, that is 1, 2, 3 up to 9, all these digits are always significant. So if you have any kind of measurement where any of these digits are present, these digits will be called as significant. Okay, that is rule number 1. Second rule, if a 0 lies between two significant figures, then that 0 will also become significant. Example, we have the number 5093. How many significant figures? It will have 4 significant figures. Why? We know that already 593, they are significant. 0 is between 5 and 9, therefore it is also significant. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 significant figures. In this number 8100.3, these two zeros lie between the two non-zero numbers. Therefore these two zeros are also significant. So how many significant figures? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay. So if 0 is between two significant figures, in that case 0 also becomes significant. That is rule number 2. Rule number 3, if 0 is towards the left hand side of a significant figure, then that 0 is not significant. Okay, for example 0.0018. Okay, what we see, these 3 zeros, they are to the left hand side of 1. Okay, so therefore all these 3 become non-significant. Okay, but 1 and 8, these are always significant. So in this given measurement, how many significant figures? Only 2, that is 1 and 8. But in this, okay, we see to the left hand side of 1 there are 2 zeros. These are not significant. Between 1 and 9 there is a 0. This is significant. After 9 there are 2 zeros. These are also significant. Okay, so in this case, how many significant figures? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So here we are having 5 significant figures. Next, rule number 4. If it is the number is having not having a decimal point. Okay, if there is no decimal point, then all the zeros towards the right hand side will be not significant. So we have a number 5200, 5200. There is no decimal point and the zeros are after 2. These 2 zeros will be not significant. So how many significant figures? Only 2, 5 and 2. So in this number only 2 significant figures. But here we have a decimal point. If there is a decimal point, all the trailing zeros, that are all the zeros towards the right hand side, they will be significant. So 5.200, here all these are significant, and here you will see you are having 4 significant figures. I hope all these rules were understood. In the class notes that I have given an exercise where number of examples have been given, where you can find the number of significant figures. Okay, so go through that exercise and go through the textbook. This concept, then it will be understood by you completely. Next, we will talk about the concept of rounding off. Okay, now why do we need to round off? Whenever we are doing any kind of operation, we have to see how many significant figures are present. So let us say you are adding two quantities have been added. So you will see what is the least number of significant figures. The final answer should have only that much number of significant figures as the lowest quantity. Okay, so wherever smallest significant figures were there, the final answer should have that significant figures only. Correct? Otherwise, the answer will not be accurate. Okay, so that is the rule. That is why we need to know about rounding off. Now, how to round off? I am sure you know this. Let us say we have a measurement that goes, say 7.987. Okay, this is the reading that we have measured. If let us say we want to round off only to 3 significant figures, so 1, 2 and 3, the 4th digit has to be rounded off. So what we will do, we will look at that figure. It is 7, it is more than 5. So what will happen to this 3rd digit, we will add 1. So the reading will become 7.99. Okay, what we did, 3rd digit we increased by 1 because the 4th digit was more than 5. Let us see if this had been 7.983. It is less than 5. I mean the 4th digit is less than 5. So after rounding off, this would become 7.98 only. Correct? In that case, it is not increased by 1. Okay. Now here I don't think there is a problem. Problem might arise if the 4th digit was 5. Okay. So let us see. For example, the reading is 6.875. Okay. Now again we want to round off only to 3 digits. Now because the 4th digit is 5, we will look at the preceding digit. Okay, the digit that is coming before 5. That digit is 7. It is odd. If it is odd, increase by 1. So what will happen? We will get 6.88. Okay, but if this 3rd digit had been even, we would keep it as it is. For example, if we had the reading 6.865, then in that case, we see we want to round off to 3. And the 4th digit is 5. So which is a digit before the 4? It is 6. Even it will remain as it is. So I will get 6.86. These are the rules for rounding of the digits. Next, we will talk about the concept of dimensional formulae. Okay, now what are dimensional formulae? For any kind of quantity, we can represent that quantity in terms of the base quantities, fundamental quantities. Okay, dimensional formulae will give you what are the powers that the base quantities have to be raised to get that particular quantity. Okay. Now how will we write the dimensional formulae? Dimensional formulae will be written in a square bracket like this. Okay. And we will write the fundamental quantities here. So of course we can have 7 of those fundamental quantities, but for our purpose we will focus only on the 3 fundamental quantities, which are M, that is the mass, L, that is the length, and T, that is the time. Okay, so whenever we are going to write, we will focus only on these 3 fundamental quantities. And once again, let me repeat, we are going to write dimension formulae always in these square brackets like this. Then we have written M, so we have to specify to what power mass is raised, to what power length is raised, to what power time is raised. Let us see what we mean by that. I will take the simplest quantity, that is mass. So when I want to represent mass, I will represent mass like this. Okay. First let us write M, L, T. Mass, length and time. So when I am representing mass, in mass this M will be raised to a power 1. But length, when we are measuring mass, there is no measurement of length. So length will be measured to the power 0. Similarly, time will be raised to the power 0. Okay. So mass will be written as M to the power 1. L to the power 0, T to the power 0. Same way you will write for length. Okay, the dimension formula for length will be written like this. We will write M, L, T. M will be raised to 0, L will be raised to 1, T will be raised to 0. For time, we will write dimension formula as M, L, T. In this case, mass will be raised to 0, length will be raised to 0, time will be raised to 1. Correct. So that is for the 3 fundamental ones. But then of course when we see the derived quantities, then we will actually start to see how it is applied. For example, let us take the derived quantity of area. How do we get area? We get area by length into length, correct? Length into breadth. So that is square of the length. So area will be represented like this, MLT. In area, there is no measurement of mass. So mass m raised to 0. No measurement of time, t raised to 0. But in area, length is measured twice, square. So here I will write L to the power 2. Getting the idea? So in measurement of area, the dimension formula becomes m to the power 0, L to the power 2, t to the power 0. Let us take one more, that is volume. In volume, we have length into breadth into height. So we have cube of the length. So you will write this as MLT, m to the power 0, t to the power 0, but L to the power 3. So let us see the dimension formulae of some more complicated quantities now. Let us take the quantity of speed. Okay, so speed, what is the formula? Speed is given by distance upon time. So if I want to find out dimension formula for speed, this is how I will find out. I will write dimension formula for distance. What is the dimension formula for distance? It will be written as m to the power 0, L to the power 1, t to the power 0. Because distance, there is only a factor of length. Then time, already we know it is m0, L0, t1. So what will be the dimension formula for speed? m naught upon m naught. Okay, so it will remain m naught. L to the power 1 divided by L to the power 0. It will remain L to the power 1. T to the power 0 divided by T to the power 1. So here I will get T to the power minus 1. Okay, so for speed, dimension formula is m to the power 0, L to the power 1, T to the power minus 1. Okay, make a note of this. Let us see dimension formula for acceleration now. So acceleration, again I am sure you remember, it is change in velocity upon time. So change in velocity divided by the time. So we can write dimensions for change in velocity. Obviously velocity will have the same dimensions as that of speed. So I can directly write the dimensions for velocity. That will be m to the power 0, L1, t minus 1 upon time, again m0, L0, t1. So for acceleration I will get m0 upon m0. This will be still m0, L1 by L0. It will be L1, t to the power minus 1 upon t to the power 1. What will happen? Minus 1 minus 1. So I will get t to the power minus 2. So this will be dimensional formula for acceleration. We will see one more, others now you will figure out on your own. Of course, all you have to do, write the formula and then put the dimensions. Very easy, you can figure out. Let us take the concept of momentum. Okay, dimensions for momentum. Moment is given by mass into velocity. So how do you find dimensions for it? Mass. The dimensions for mass m1, L0, t0 multiplied by dimension for velocity. So for dimensions of velocity m0, L1, t minus 1. When you are multiplying m1 into m0, you will get m1, L0 into L1, you will get L1, t0 into t minus 1, you will get t minus 1. So this will be the dimensions for momentum m1, L1, t minus 1. So that was the concept of dimensional formulae. Now this concept is very important. There will be questions asked on this particular concept. Okay, you will have to do, there is something called as a dimensional analysis. That is something that we will discuss in the next class, right? So what I want you to do now, in your textbook there is an appendix A9. I want you to write down, that appendix will give the dimension formula of a number of quantities. I don't want you to write all of them. The first 12 quantities that are given, you are going to make a note of all these quantities. That is the formula along with the dimension formula in your notebook. Okay, and as it is in the notes already, this concept I have given in much detail. So go through that. Make sure that you understand the concept of significant figures and dimension formula very properly. There will be questions asked on these topics. Okay, if there are doubts, make sure to ask me. Okay, thank you.